Hello everyone, my name is Clark Beckham, former runner-up of American Idol season 14, and we've got the top 20 performing from their homes. Let's get into it. So at the beginning, I'm thinking, is this live? It looks live. They're making it appear live. They're not saying it's live, which to me is like, if this was live, they would promote that like crazy because that's so impressive. Throughout the show, I was able to find some things that gave me hints on how they did this, and I'll be sharing that later. Ryan Seacrest starts the show saying, with groundbreaking technology, we're making this work. Groundbreaking technology, I guess, means iPhones and a ring light. So whatever you want to call it, I'm down. And maybe there's some stuff I don't know about. I just thought that was funny. Here's where my heart breaks. The idea of not just them having their performances in their homes and not on a stage with everybody, but they said there's only going to be 4 episodes in total that get you from top 20 to the winner. And that hurts me a lot. And I got really frustrated when I first read an article and first heard what they were doing. They were thinking of all the options. I read that one option was to do a live show and animate Disney characters in the audience, which I thought was really funny. Might have been corny, but cool. With the way production works, there's an army of people that just make the show happen. So to even do production with no audience, there's still going to be 30, 50 people minimum, especially when you think of the contestants. And I just don't think it was possible, especially when you risk putting them on planes and that kind of a thing. One option in this article I was reading mentioned that they thought about just postponing the show until things got better and then resuming it as planned. And that felt, quote, unsatisfying, end quote. Now, I don't know if that's true, if they were all at the meeting and they had that, like this is an option, it's viable, but doesn't feel satisfying. Or if there was some talk about, well, when will this get better? Will ABC cancel it if we wait? I don't know, but the response that it was, quote, unsatisfying bothered me a lot. Here's why. When they talk about what they're doing, that they're doing it online, they're doing it from homes and only having 4 episodes, they keep making it sound like it's for the contestants. That bothers me because no one suffers more from this than the contestants and their future career. Luke said, well, the contestants deserve for us to keep going so they can get their career going. They're going to get their career going, huh? In quarantine. They're going to go out and do all the appearances and the Idol tour and have meetings with record labels, and I don't know if that's actually going to happen. It just bothers me when they say it's for the contestants. Like, that's nice, and I know that's what PR is saying, and like that's what sounds good, but it's absolutely the worst case scenario for the contestants. They're only going to get 4 shows instead of having 10 or so to narrow down and get all these different performances. We're having 4 performances total until the winner's found. That's like playing the Super Bowl in like a 5-minute quarter. It's very frustrating. It's very heartbreaking thinking that the contestants aren't going to get the experience that they dreamed of, that they thought they were getting into when they auditioned, and they did suffer, so that sucks. On another note, I think Lionel Richie might be the best judge they've ever had. As far as the skill of judging, speaking to camera, being articulate, he's a pro. You can definitely tell when the judges were giving feedback that they were probably encouraged by the producers to be very uplifting, very positive, to be very sparse with their critique. They did give critique, Katie especially, but it's starting to remind me what The Voice does. The Voice, if you watch, they never have critique. And for a while, people thought The Voice had better singers than American Idol because all the coaches on The Voice would just say, wow, that was incredible. Wow, that was incredible. And then you'd go to American Idol and you'd have judges being critical. This was pitchy here. I don't think this was right. This was not the right whatever. And so people are like, oh, The Voice has better singers, which is not true. So it looks like they're starting to do this, being positive on almost everybody the whole time, which, take it or leave it. Kimmy Gabriela. I'm so worried about Kimmy Gabriela because she was first, which is the worst spot. Maybe second. Second might be the worst spot because you might remember the first, but the farther toward the beginning of the show that you sing, the worse off you are in people's memories. But Kimmy Gabriela might be the best singer on the show. I think she's given the best vocal performances overall and consistent. She has been just the sweet girl that doesn't necessarily stand out in a certain way. I don't know why. Vocally, she has probably made me freak out and scream more than anybody.
Is it love?
Ooh.
When you walk out the door, don't you come back no more. My heart is had enough of your give and take.
Her pitch was perfect. So perfect that I was like, are they doing auto-tune to this too? Is this pre-recorded? And have they messed with this as well? And if they do, they have to do it for everybody. And I'm thinking all of this, but I don't hear a moment where I'm like, aha, that's tuned. Like she just sang perfectly. I'm telling you, she crushed it. Probably the best vocal performance of the whole night. And it really hurts that she was first. Someone's got to be first. They want to kick it off with someone really good. And that's what they did. But there's a risk there because it's easy to forget the first person. She did so good. Jovan Webb. I think Jovan suffered a little bit without the band. I think a handful of the contestants made the mistake of starting really big and then it just kind of staying there the whole time. Not really any dynamic. So Jovan did this. Jovan started in really big. First 5 seconds, I was like, woo, here we go. And then he stayed right there the whole time. And I just started to get bored. It just didn't do anything for me. He did fine. Wasn't a fan of this performance. Franklin Boone, one of my favorite songs of all time. He did a beautiful job. I really wanted the shuffle. The shuffle to this song, the drum groove, how the bass and the keys and the synth, like how everything goes together is as good as it gets in the history of music, in my opinion. And I was really missing it. I mean, I love the shuffle. Here's what it sounds like originally. Woo! I was missing that, but he did great. And the drummer was doing it kind of later, but I didn't really get the shuffle, but he sounded great. There's a beautiful rendition of it. I was into it. At this point, I was like, everyone's perfect. Everyone sounds perfect. There's no pitch issues. How is this happening? This is one of the most talented top 20s I think Idol's ever had. Ximines. Olivia Ximines. Nailed it. Like Jovan, I think she started right at the top and just kind of stayed there. I think she, more than anyone, really suffered from not having the lights, the big stage, and the band because she is such a dynamic performer physically with dancing. It just kind of stayed in the same place. The arrangement was odd. I was never really satisfied or felt comfortable in the structure of the song. I think being in her living room instead of a stage really affected her. The James Bond chord ending thing was really dope, though. Song is based off of this. So they're just staying on this G minor, and the James Bond thing is it's also in a horror film, so it's like I'm the bad guy. All for it. I think that was a band choice or maybe one of her vocal arrangement coaches, but it was pretty sweet. She was the first person to have pitch issues, which told me no one's auto-tuned. So when I'm hearing Kimmy Gabriela, Franklin Boone, and others sing with perfect pitch, I'm thinking, oh, they're just singing with perfect pitch. I mean, they're just singing perfectly. The amount of stress, like unique stress that this has to bring on is crazy. You being in your home, having an iPhone and a ring light and a couple iPhones and tripods to give you different angles, and you're looking at the camera here, and like you're performing in your home, in your backyard, in your room, in your garage, wherever, and it means your career. Wow. It's crazy. I'm super interested how the nerves are, whether they're less or even more. Louis Knight, what a freaking song. I've heard it a little bit, but oh my gosh, what a good song. Great song choice. Ugh, if the world was ending, you'd come over, right? Phew. Just the whole song is lyrically like, wow, what a song. His setup looks sick. Like his lighting and the background just looked really cool. Started off a little weak to me. Had some pitch issues. It was a little flat time to time. The emotion behind it seemed a little forced. It's important that you understand the emotion of the song and follow suit, because if this was like a I can't live without you, I'm gonna die, I think the emotion was right. But I think this song is like, if the world is ending, you come over, right? And his emotion seemed a little much, seemed a little forced, like he was going to cry. It looked like a couple times. And I thought it was too much. Maybe it was perfect for everybody else, but for me, I thought it was a little forced and a little too much for the song. His falsetto was great, though. I mean, right when he went into falsetto, it was... I think vocally he's the weakest of the 20, but he's got an X factor about him. And it's not just that he has a really cool English accent, but his performing is really good. Like when he took his hands off the keys and started singing, I was like, oh, wow. Like I don't know why. I just never would have thought playing and then taking your hands off the keys and singing would be effective, but that was super effective. Super effective. The first criticism of the night was from Katie to Louis, and she said that she felt he was a little nasally sometimes. I didn't hear that at all. Doesn't mean he wasn't. I just didn't notice that. And it's interesting that the first criticism came to Louis, who seems to be a favorite. Makayla Phillips. This one worries me. I think it was her weakest performance of the show that we've seen. She fell a little flat, had some pitch issues. This is when I caught that they had multiple takes. Not only was this not live, they would cut from Ryan and the contestant to just the contestant, and I would see when it was Ryan and the contestant mouth was closed, and then they'd cut to just contestant, and then they were smiling really big. So it's like, aha, okay, so this isn't live. I think they did it live. I think they did it maybe last week. This was the moment when I caught, oh, they've got multiple takes. Nope. They doing multiple takes. I think they performed it 2 times through, and then they picked what they wanted and spliced the performance together. It's all on click, which means it's the exact same tempo. So you can put it in a software and cut it and kind of play Frankenstein with it and pick the good parts from this and that. I don't know if they did that with the audio. Maybe they just did it with the video just to have more angles and stuff. But this was the moment that I caught. They had multiple takes, which means they did the performance multiple times, at least 2. Katy Perry mentioned the song choice wasn't great. I agree. It was just kind of like, yep, there it is. There's the song, and it was fine. She didn't mess up. She was flat a couple times, but it's just, I don't know, it just wasn't special to me. I'm worried that some of the contestants are being influenced by the encouragement of the producers to pick a fun, up-tempo song, because the producers want a full show of interesting songs that keep people energized and keep people watching. And a lot of times they think that just means up-tempo and exciting. On my season, they were very encouraging on picking up-tempo, exciting songs so that they didn't have any snoozes where people would change the channel. Only problem is a lot of that looks like up-tempo poppy dance songs. We're sitting on our couch. We don't really want to get up and dance. Maybe some people do. Maybe some people turn on American Idol, have their dancing shoes on and ready to go. I'm sitting on my couch and I'm listening. Most people are sitting on their couch and they're listening and they want to know who the person is and they want to hear what they have to bring. When it's just like a up-tempo, it doesn't get me. No, I don't think anyone's looking to dance. I don't think anyone's really wanting like that ragtime, get it going, poppy up-tempo stuff that doesn't have a lot of dynamics vocally, melodically, arrangement-wise. I don't know. I just hope they're not falling into that. Luke said something really good. He said, don't make it look too easy. These notes are so easy for you. It doesn't even look like you're trying, which can be detrimental. My dad told me this. He said, make the notes look harder than they are. Because if you're doing it right and you have the right technique, high notes really aren't that hard to do. And you can hit a high note like this. Just kind of, you can read. It's not hard when you really click into the proper technique. You want to make people think you're working harder than you are. So when you hit these notes, people are like, whoa, look how hard he's working, or look how hard she's working to hit these. And if you make them look too easy, people just take them for granted. Something really effective like this is if you can hit a note and make people think that's your ceiling and make it look hard and like you're going for it, when you come to the next part where you go up a 5th higher or a 3rd higher, that's when people's brains blow apart. They're like, what? I thought that was as high as they can go. And then all of a sudden, you jump up and show them you had more. Aliana Jester. At the top, I got goosebumps. I was like, ooh, this is the best she's ever sounded. Maybe she's blossoming here. Maybe the judges saw something in her that I never saw because I wasn't in favor of the decision to put her in the top 20. And she started off great. As soon as she got into big notes, she fell really flat, which is disappointing. She just missed the boat. Katie said lean in more. This was a note that they gave random people that made no sense to me when they're like, lean in more to it. I thought she was leaning in, just maybe leaning in to the wrong place. Faith Becknell. Her voice sounded great. She hit the notes well. She missed on any type of agility or any type of runs or quick vocal movement. You want to take the stairs, not the slide. And I think she's taking the slide. Nick Merico. I was so intrigued to listen to Nick Merico because I was wondering, all right, nothing's tuned now. Who's going to be exposed? And I thought he might be exposed when all we're hearing is just the raw audio. He was not. He sounded good. The schmooze was a little much sometimes. It kind of made me like, ugh, give me a break. But I think he did really well. He did an arrangement of Hey There Delilah, and it had some cool little moments. There's one chord on You're to Blame that was really cool.
By the time that we get through, the world will never ever be the same. And you're to blame.
Hey, chord!
Oh, Delilah.
The original chords are Delilah, I will promise you that by the time that we get through, The world will never ever be the same, and you're to blame. And he hit, you're to blame. And he did a cooler deviation in the melody than I just did, but it was really cool. I loved that. He got the note dig in a little more as well. I don't get it, because he dug in when he needed to dig in. When it got big, he got big. At the beginning, he was small when it needed to be small. I don't get that note. Lauren Spencer Smith, I think she's saying every note right. I think we ran into the same problem as Olivia and Jovan and a couple others, where we start high and we just stay there the whole time. Very hard song. She pulled it off. I was unmoved. I wouldn't go back and watch it again. What's hard about that is she did it right. She did everything fine. I don't know what else she could have done. She got a little yelly at times, but I mean, she did it. And she's young. There's not a lot behind her eyes when she's performing, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Sanaya Elise. Shoo. When she is put in the middle of all of the contestants and you hear her sing, it shows that her voice is just superior. She sounded awesome. She killed it. Very gospel-y. Wonderful song choice. She absolutely crushed it. Ryan said that Luke Bryan was making a, quote, stinky look face. I think he means stank face. Stinky look face is fine. It's, it's that, yeah, I guess that's what it is. Our goal is to make Luke Bryan and everyone in the world have stinky look faces. Francisco Martin, guitar is out of tune, just to start with. I think I know why. A common mistake a lot of people make is when they have their acoustic guitar, they'll tune it where it's perfect, and then when they put a capo on there, it changes the tuning just a little bit where it sounds out of tune. Happens all the time. It's when your guitar isn't perfectly set up. So this is a capo, and you have the guitar neck, and when you put a capo on, you like raise the key kind of, so now you can play up here instead of what it would be without it. And here, so you can raise the key, and that's kind of how it works. But when you put this capo on, sometimes it will bend some of the strings around when it comes on. Like if it doesn't come on clean, it'll be out of tune, or the neck isn't set up right. And so that was the first thing that bothered me. His voice sounded awesome. He's just got a special voice. When he sings, he just sounds like a star, and that did not go away here. He came across a little awkward with the mic and just how he was standing and how he's performing. He's really playing the I'm the nervous kid, oh gee golly me. And I think it's real, but I think that's his comfort zone. And so he just stays in it instead of like, all right, I'm on American Idol, I'm top 20, this is what it is. I deserve to be here. I'm honored by any compliments and I'm happy to be here, but the like, oh my gosh, my heart was beating, It seems a little put on to me now, but it's from truth. I don't think he's making it up, but I think he's leaning into it quite a bit. Another performance that lacked dynamics, just kind of here the whole time and just stayed right here. Katie mentioned that. She said she thinks he could have come down and made it intimate for a second, and I agree. But overall, I was cool with this. He sounded really good. Sophia James, as you all know, she's my favorite, and I'm biased because we're friends. That being said, I'm nervous about this one because I don't think she had a standout performance. Luke Bryan said that she was sneaky good, which is actually the problem. She is sneaky good. She needs to be obviously good. You want to take your talent and put it on a platter for everybody to see. And sometimes these runs and these notes are so easy for her, they can go over your head because not only do they not look difficult because it seems like it's easy for her, which it is, but a lot of times it can come and go pretty quickly and it just goes right over your head. The beginning started out a little weird for me. The songs are all to a click, so I think the band has their recording and they finish it. Then the contestants perform to that track through their ears. And when it's on a click and it just starts her by herself, she has to be right on that click for the percussion and everything else to make sense when it comes in. And there is a percussive part that came in the beginning that was throwing me off a little bit, and it seemed to be an offbeat syncopated pattern. And if you're not right on the click, that syncopation is going to sound off. I thought the keyboard was too low. That's a personal preference thing, so whatever she wants, but it looked like her arms are way down and that she had to look and it wasn't very comfortable for her where it was. That's just me. Maybe that's exactly where she wanted it. I still think she's most talented on the show, but this one makes me nervous because when you're going from 20 to 10 and America's voting on 20 people, you got to stand out. And I don't know if she did her best at doing that. Dewayne Crocker Jr. Woo, boy.
I feel good.
Hey.
I knew that I would now. Like sugar and spice now. Yeah. I feel nice. Like sugar and spice now. So good. So good. I feel nice. Like sugar and spice now. I got you. Oh, so good. So
That's how you do it. Give me that again.
Time so good. I got you. I got you.
Come on, Dewayne. Come on. Give me that one more time.
One more time, so good. I got you.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
I got
That's
you.
ridiculous. Boy, boy, boy. This is my favorite performance of the whole night. The arrangement he did was like a halftime broken down version of I Feel Good by James Brown. And I think he got it from Donye Goodman, who is one of the most talented, funky dudes in the world. His arrangement goes like this.
I feel good. I knew that I wouldn't.
Singers are like race car drivers. Your car and your engine is your voice, raw vocal ability. You can have a great vehicle, V12, twin turbo, muscle car, race car, whatever. But you have to be a good driver. You put an expert driver in a minivan, they can do some stuff with it. You put an expert driver in a race car, and you have Kim Burrell, you have Russell White, you have Jasmine Sullivan. You have the best singers, and he has a great car, can hit a lot of notes, got great control, and he is a monster driver. He knows exactly what to do with his voice. The run at the end, singing that the band is doing, is gooey, gooey, gooey good. I don't know if I've ever said it like that, but that's just what it made me think. And it's very impressive. And I know the band was geeking. Favorite performance of the night. The judges made me so mad. Luke said, it's a little too slick for me. I just miss some of the growl and the dirtiness in the voice of James Brown. It's like, listen, he's not James Brown. He's not doing a James Brown impression, okay? He's Dewayne Crocker Jr. And he's doing his thing and he crushed it. Don't give me the like, I wish you had more gravel in your voice. It's like, no, he's doing a different arrangement completely, so it's clear that he's not copying James Brown. He's killing every run and every note. I hope that doesn't affect his votes at all, because he was the best of the night, in my opinion. Dillon James, I think he did better than he's ever done. I think this is his best performance. Dillon is so lovable and likable. Have you guys seen Waco on Netflix? It just came out. It's so good. The guy from Friday Night Lights that played Riggins is playing the leader, and the lead reminds me of Dillon James. They call him the spiritual cowboy. I feel like Dillon, if you wanted to, could be a cult leader. Not saying that that's his thing, not saying that he's weird or whatever. He just reminds you of the guy in Waco, like long hair, really kind and loving and just sweet. He's so likable. You just want to be his friend and want to be around him, and he's got influence that way. That is a very powerful attribute in this competition when it comes to voting and his success in the show. He did great. Used dynamics really well. Really, really good performance. Arthur Gunn. Not a fan of this one. I think he fell into the trap of we want to do up-tempo, feel good, get people moving and grooving, pick like a ragtime song, old school. It's hard for me to see him do that and be like, oh, cool, he can be a star on the radio. I've had that feeling in other performances he's done. His eyes are rolling in the back of his head more than usual. Makes me uncomfortable. It looks cleaned up. Looks like he's got a nice haircut, which I'm jealous of because I haven't had a haircut in a long time. #quarantine. I'm afraid for him on this one. A lot of front runners had bad performances this week, and it makes me nervous because 20-10 is a huge cut. I hope America votes for who they need to vote for. Juliana Gargano.
I can hold my breath.
Sing. Play!
Bite my tongue. Be your number one.
Whoa. I have been sleeping on Juliana. She crushed. Hit some really low notes. Low notes are really hard when they're nerves because when you're nervous, your core muscles flex a little bit, a natural response to being nervous because your body's protecting your organs like it's about to be in a fight or something. So it's just something that happens. Your lung capacity is not as good as when you're relaxed. And that usually takes 2 or 3 notes off the top of your range and 2 or 3 notes off the bottom of your range. And the really low notes that need a ton of air don't usually come out clean. They came out clean for her. She sounded amazing. Her runs were super duper clean. Very impressed. She was playing piano well. I didn't know she could play like that. I had no idea. And she was playing on a Casio looking thing. I don't think there's any weight to that. There are weighted keys, which feels like an actual piano. And then there are unweighted keys. The cheap toy pianos have unweighted keys, and that's what she was playing on, and she sounded really good. Big standout. I'm a fan. I don't know why it's taking me this long. Grace Lear got in over Lauren. We haven't talked about this, but I'm disappointed. I like Lauren. I think she's a true superstar potential artist. America voted, and they voted Grace in because Grace, like Luke said, was a winner of the night. This one missed. Week at the top, she had one big miss on a run, which happens. She started yelling a lot. When it got bigger, she got better, and Luke kind of commented on that, but at the beginning, I wasn't into it. I think she missed on this one. Just Sam picked a perfect song. It seemed to me like she was trying not to disturb the neighbors. Every time I've seen her, she's like flat out, all the way in, stomping on the song. And this time she was very reserved. Seemed awkward to me personally, and just, I didn't get it. She didn't fall flat. She hit every note right. It's just like she was singing quietly. Like she didn't feel comfortable enough to really go for it. So if anyone is going to get the note, hey, I wanted you to dig in more, it would be her. And of course, they didn't give her that note. They gave other people that note. That didn't make sense. At the end, she was like, oh my gosh, I'm trying not to cry. I was like, nothing's happened. No one has said anything. Maybe she's trying not to cry because, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I'm in my home and I'm in the top 20 and I hope I make it, and that makes her cry. But if she's like, I'm trying not to cry, and calling Katie like Auntie Katie, and I don't like it. I'm not buying it. She's like, I'm trying not to cry. There wasn't a judge that was like, this is it for you. You're going to make it. There was no comment that made sense for that remark to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh. And the pimp spot goes to Jonny West. Pimp spot refers to the very last performance of the show. That's obviously the best spot to be in. People are going to remember who was last, whether you're good or bad or average. So it goes to Jonny West. His falsetto sounded awesome. I'm a huge fan. Had some nice chords. He's another one I'm worried about because I wasn't super impressed. Again, everything was fine. His eyes are killers. People melt. People love him, including myself. The performance wasn't great. The only reason I'm not as worried about him as I'm worried about Makayla and Sophia is because he was last. And you're not going to forget him because he was last. Okay, those are my thoughts for the top 20. Here's my top 10. I've got Kimmy Gabriela, Jonny West, Makayla Phillips, Sophia James, Sanaya Elise, Francisco Martin, Dewayne Crocker Jr., Dillon James, and Juliana Gargano. That's my top 10 if I was in charge, but I'm not in charge. This is the top 10 that I think we're going to walk away with next Sunday. Jonny West, Makayla Phillips, Sophia James, Just Sam, Franklin Boone, Louis Knight, Francisco Martin, Dillon James, Arthur Gunn, and Juliana Gargano. When I was making this top 10, gosh, it's hard. We're going to lose some killers no matter how you spin it. Even in my top 10, there's a couple people that I'm like, how do I leave this person out? There's just not enough spots. This might be the most talented top 20 I've seen on American Idol. People who I think are going to make it in, who I wouldn't put in, Louis, because I think people love him, and I get it. I'm not that mad at it. I think Just Sam's going to go in there. She was one that I was like, how do I not put her in my top 10? But I just wasn't impressed by her performance this time. But I think she's one of the better performers and a great singer, and I think she's going to make it because of how America's fallen in love with her thus far, and because she's crushed every performance until now. We'll find out. Arthur Gunn is another person I think America adores already. So because his performance might have been weaker or less extraordinary than usual, I think he might find some forgiveness. Those are my thoughts. Thanks for watching. Tell me what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe. Listen, I really love doing these videos, and it would help me a lot if you could share them, whether you're sharing them on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, anything you can do. You can follow me at Clark Beckham on Instagram and repost stories and repost posts that I have about these videos. Other than that, I'm heartbroken about how this show's going, and unfortunately we have 4 episodes, but we're gonna make the best we got out of it. See you next time.